Oh, haha, I didn't see you there. Haha. Well, now, you seem to have caught me reading up on my, Red Dead Redemption box thingy. Anyhow, this is my review. Suffice it to say, I love Halloween, so in the spirit of the holiday of spirits, let us begin my Halloween spooktacular reviews. Apologies about the camera, by the way. I don't know what's up with it. It seems to be kind of glitchy on the left-hand side. Anywho, let's get started, shall we? It's that time again, boils and ghouls. Halloween. Can I just say, damn, I really love this holiday. Of course I do. I mean, why shouldn't I? I mean, Halloween's one of the few days of the year that that honors movies awesomely bad and awesomely good equally. A film geek holiday that none comes close to. So, what, pray tell, movies should I recommend to you, my beloved public? And what horror films will I be watching this Halloween for the first time? Well, read on and we shall see. And this is going to be multiple parts, I'm thinking. Firstly, Halloween, 1978. I would be a fool if I were to forget this 70s John Carpenter classic named after the titular holiday. Many people label this as the first slasher film. To this, I respectfully disagree. However, I do consider this to be the first commercial slasher. I feel that films such as Psycho, Peeping Tom, and the paralyzingly terrifying Texas Chainsaw Massacre crafted the genre and its elements. A psychotic killer, a body count, and a beautiful but innocent girl/woman who must triumph over the evil of the villain/slasher. However, I find that Halloween was the first slasher to popularize the genre. Overly popularized, as some critics and cynics would say. What I loved about this film was the atmosphere. During his heyday, because he certainly went to crap after the 80s, and this film is no exception. When watching the films of John Carpenter, really, sorry, this is edited pretty poorly. Watching the film, John Carpenter really transports you to this all-American town that begins so peaceful, tranquil, and innocent, but as night goes on, it turns to sheer terror. One of the few beauties of this film is it isn't set in some haunted house or camp in the middle of nowhere. No, it manages to turn your average suburban neighborhood into your worst nightmare, almost as deadly as Michael Myers, the serial-killing antagonist himself. Where is he? When will he strike next? Who will he strike next? That's part of the film's terror. I also have to give credit to the outstanding job of the three main talents. Jamie Lee Curtis, daughter of Psycho star Janet Leigh, and the main Scream Queen. Donald Pleasance, the amazing British actor who was the first to portray James Bond's nemesis, Ernest Blofeld, on screen, as well as many other amazing roles, and Tony Moran, who portrayed the Shape, the character who would later go on to be known as Michael Myers. I particularly loved how coldly and stealthily he portrayed Michael, separating him from the gargantuan Jason Voorhees and the later cornball/goofball Freddy Krueger. Next film, Creepshow. Many film geeks consider the 1980s to be if not the golden age of horror, and this film helps to start the decade off with a bang. Written by horror superstar Stephen King, a man who needs no details. Directed by horror legend George A. Romero, creator of the modern zombie from Night, Dawn, and Day of the Dead, as well as many others, and with amazing practical effects by Tom Savini, the legendary special effects man and actor who did the effects for Dawn of the Dead, Friday the 13th, Part 1 and 4, and many more. It's like a little candy bag of awesome. The film also has many great talents such as acting, including horror character actor Tom Atkins, as well as Stephen King, his son, and such screen legends as Hal Holbrook, Leslie Nelson, Ed Harris, and Ted Danson. The film has the same funny, goofy tone of the cheesy, overly gory, and explicit 1950s horror comics that inspired it. It's a great anthology film, giving you 5 amazing mini horror films in one. The standout performances in this, I feel, are Tom Atkins, who plays Stephen King's kid's physically abusive dad, a horror icon who I loved in Halloween 3, Night of the Creeps, and Drive Angry. Leslie Nelson, who typically portrays comedy roles, but in this plays a sociopathic millionaire. But the creme de la creme performance in this film has to be Stephen King himself, who plays a country bumpkin who is way too funny and awesome. The next one up, Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter, 1984. This film is a widely overlooked gem for many reasons. For one, it's a sequel in a slasher franchise, which most people can be pretty picky towards. It's also the sequel of a franchise that, while the main villain, Jason Voorhees, is iconic, hasn't fared as well critically and intellectually as other slasher franchises. Scream, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hatchet. Though I would be widely amiss if I didn't say that the Friday the 13th series had its own fan base, which I am one of them. However, I love this film, and I'm surprised to find out I'm not alone. As acclaimed modern horror slasher filmmakers, Adam Green and Joe Lynch do the commentary for the DVD version of the film. What I love about this film is that not only does it have a high body count and interesting and disturbing kills, makeup effects by Tom Savini, who did the effects in the original, Jason with his hockey mask, but it also has something that's a rarity for most slashers: likable characters. I actually love these characters. It feels like John Hughes' film got stranded in the woods, and now must face off with Jason. Despite what such acclaimed critics such as Roger Ebert may say about this film, I still love it and consider it to be one of the better slasher sequels out there. Sure, it's not the smartest film ever and won't win many awards, but it's a fun, campy slasher flick. Fright Night, 1985. I sure do love the 80s, don't I? And what's not to like? Great actors and actresses, the evolution of feminism and the horror in the genre, great villains, great practical effects, and a shared sense of film geek nostalgia for other films. All those, minus sadly the feminism, this film has in spades, and that's what I love about it. The film has brilliant performances by Chris Sarandon, who played Prince Humperdinck in another classic film, The Princess Bride, William Ragsdale, who I was amazed to find out went on to star in another of my favorite TV shows, Justified, and Roddy McDowall, best known for his roles in The Planet of the Apes. This film has a fun sense of self-aware goofiness that the 80s specialized in, as well as amazing special effects that I feel rival those of today's. The humor is also spot on. Jen Espenson, a writer on the TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, wrote the 2011 remake, which was also solid, and you can easily tell that this film had a major influence on the creation of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The film stars Ragsdale as a horror film geek who discovers his neighbor may be a vampire. One of my few complaints about the remake is it was a really great action film. However, the original had The original had such a sense of curiosity towards it, very reminiscent of 1980's Spielberg about something mysterious and supernatural in a natural setting. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I adore cheesy, campy movies. Have I said that before? I can't help it, and this film goes up to 11 on the cheese scale. How cheesy is it, you may ask? Well, I haven't admittedly seen the movie in a while, though I adore the show. I do remember Paul Rubens plays a vampire character named Lefty because his right arm was taken off by a guitar. How awesome is that? True to say that Fox didn't realize Joss Whedon's vision until he got his own show in 1997 would be a vast understatement, as would many mishaps Mr. Whedon would later have with the company. Cancellation of Firefly and Dollhouse. But he made one of the highest grossing and greatest superhero movies ever. So, who's laughing now? Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn, 1987. Similar to my previous Dead Alive review, previously written, soon to be on here, Evil Dead 2 shares a very similar, funny, campy, humorous side. Although I found Evil Dead 2 to have far less comedic elements. However, they both have their share of what the fuck moments, of things that happen that will make you say, what the hell did I just see? Those moments I won't spoil for you, but suffice to say this film is a rare treat of a horror film that perfectly and seamlessly blends elements of horror and comedy together in a very original way that will stay with you a long time. It also stars my favorite actor and horror legend, Bruce Campbell, who is gold in this film. He once again plays Ashley Ash Williams, a college student who goes to the proverbial cabin in the woods with his girlfriend. From there on, things get crazier. I love the wide range of emotions that Campbell is able to pull off, from the horror to physical pain to emotional pain, as he's challenged and broken by the mysterious evil that lurks in the woods. However, by the film ends, he turns into a complete sarcastic, snarky badass with a great sense of humor and excellent comedic timing, as well as a great physical presence as an action actor. Sam Raimi, I heard, was going to make Batman before Tim Burton got the gig, and I think that Raimi would have made a far superior Batman for one reason amongst many, that being, I could far more see Bruce Campbell portraying the dark yet cynical side of Bruce Wayne that the 80s had come to craft. Thank you, and until part 2.